Hey guys, this is Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm doing a review of the Guiding Light Tarot by Victoria Ivanova. This is called the Premium Color Edition, and actually, Debris, the publishing company, had sent this to me for review. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So the artist and creator, Victoria Ivanova, is a graduate from the Art Academy in St. Petersburg. She creates books, tarot cards, she loves to paint, and the main focus is here that she loves to utilize her art to look at the polarity between darkness and light. And you're going to see a lot of that in this deck. And by the way, if you are interested in this deck, then head over to debris.com and use the code KWT20 to get 20% off your order. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the box here. And you see it's got some rainbow effect going on. So aesthetically, it's very nice. And since it's a nice hard box, it's going to keep your deck safe and sound. It's got our little magnetic closure here. And we open her up to find the guidebook. And if you are interested in checking out other things that Victoria, the creator, has created, take a look at her on Instagram at blackart.victoria. So I have a little card here in case you guys needed to see that. There we go, at blackart.victoria. All right, so taking a look at the guidebook here. It's a simple little guidebook, but the cool thing is that it is in full color and talks a little bit about how some of the suits have just been renamed, but basically they have the same energy as a Rider-Waite-Smith. Has a little spread there, some tips, and then we dive into the major arcana. And as you can see, it is full color. So how about that? Fancy schmancy. Okay, so up here you'll get mostly Rider-Waite-Smith definition, but here is the artist's vision, the artist's explanation of the art that she chose for that specific card, which I think is pretty interesting. And I like to have a scan through a guidebook, even though I'm an intuitive reader and I don't use the guidebook for my readings. I still think it's interesting to see the artist's point of view. So definitely give it a gander. And then you have your minors. And yes, it is a pip deck, but it's got, I would say, enough in it that if you weren't quite familiar with just the pips outside of, let's say, a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, then it would, you'd be able to figure out kind of what it meant if you were just using your intuition. So I'd say it's kind of a cross then between the RWS and maybe a Marseille type of deck. Okay, so with that, let's take a look at the cards. That's what you guys are waiting for. Again, I love the holographics. It like reminds me of the early 2000s when I had everything holographic. Okay, so we have the holographic edging. Booyah. And then we have your card here, which is your standard tarot card size. And then we have holographic foil on the back of a white laminated card. And pretty good cardstock. I would say it's within the 300 GSM range. Nice and bendy for those of you that are riffle shufflers. I'm a side shuffler. I don't really plan on bending my cards, but that's just me. All right, so let's have a look at these lovely cards. We're starting off with the Fool card. And the first thing I noticed about her deck is it's very pointy. I was like, why is it so pointy? Everything's pointy. And what I was getting from that is if, you know, she's talking about looking at the polarity between light and shadow. And she says she wants to use the light to take a look at what's in the shadows. And if you look at your shadow on the ground, sometimes depending at the angle of the sun, you know, during sunrise or sunset, if it's very low, the shadows get very long and somewhat pointy looking. So perhaps it's looking into new beginnings, but also endings. So things that you want to bring in, things that you want to release, kind of keeping that in mind when utilizing this deck. And I would say that personally, the art style is not my particular style of art, but I do love the way in which the artist utilized her art in order to express polarity, in order for people to look into their shadows, but bringing out messages for our best and highest good with the light. Now that Justice card, I'll probably say this is my favorite card in the deck, and usually the Justice card's not my favorite card in any deck. Usually I look at the Strength card or the Fool card, but that one, I don't know, something about it, the light shining through, that the light will prevail. I don't know. Balancing oneself, light and shadow, love it. And just the use of form as well. Just movement when there's structure, and then fluidity, and it's just a nice balance of the two. The Moon card I also love. I love the phases, the use of coloring, but also that it looks different depending on our perspective. You know, not everybody sees the moon or sees our intuition exactly the same. And then that World card just kind of looking like Source. Awesome. All right, so then we get into our Minor Arcana. And like I said, it is a pip deck, but there's a little more going on with it so that you can utilize your intuition. So if you didn't know what the Two of Cups was, let's say, and the Rider-Waite-Smith, you can kind of figure out, okay, so we have what kind of looks like the caduceus. We have two cups, things intertwining, becoming one. And things building on top of each other. And here we have balance. And then the light, or the darkness between the light. And since they are laminated, they're a little bit slippery, but also that's going to protect your cards too, just in case you get a little bit of moisture on it. Which, by the way, I was going to film outside in the snow, but it's a little bit too windy. But hey, if I did get a little snow on my cards or a little bit of rain, I could just wash it off right away or wipe it off right away, and my cards would be just fine. So I appreciate that. Okay, I want to take a look at the court cards kind of all together. So you have your Page of Cups, you have your Knight of Cups, the Queen, and then the King. So if we kind of put them together here, mostly looking at probably the Page, the Queen, and the King. Just how you would take, like, let's say this was one individual, looking more at their masculine aspect, their feminine aspect, the fluidity, and the movement, where here you have these huge, massive waves, not knowing really where you're going quite yet. Here the waves becoming a little bit more structured and having more energy behind that water, behind those waves. So, I don't know, I just thought that was interesting and amazing. And you'll see that something similar was done with all the court cards. And also, usually I'm one that loves a lot of color in decks, but I also know that when there is a lack of color, and if it's used in a particular type of way in order to convey a message, I think it really works, and I think it does work in this deck. You know, there are some images where it seems there's a lot of color, like a lot more light, and when there is literally a lot more light, like the sun is able to shine light on something, you get more colors from the light spectrum. You're able to see more aspects of things. Or if you're in darkness, the darker the card, it's harder to see. It's harder to see through those shadows without the light. Okay, and here we go with the pentacles. We have your page, your knight, and for the most part, the knights are all going to be mostly personless, although you can see the leg of the person, but the rest of it has disappeared. So the main focus is on the horse and their element. Okay, so we have your queen and we have your king. So again, putting them all together. Again, we can see this as the same type of person, but in just different developmental stages. So up here, like swelling with pride, you know, in our pentacles, our page of pentacles, and here coming down into the root chakra and the sacral chakra with creativity, and then here kind of having a more uniform color, meaning everything coming into focus, into balance. So definitely quite interesting and unique. Okay, getting to the swords, it's already kind of a pointy deck. Now it gets ultra pointy when we get to the swords. And I love the use of the thicker lines and the thin lines, like cutting through. And that's what the sword suit does. We're cutting through the ego, cutting through the mind, cutting through the BS. With that Five of Swords, shadow coming up big time. And here, these swords diving into the waters, diving into our emotions, into the recesses of our mind. And remember, you can press pause at any time if you want to pause on any one card, meditate with it. All right, so now we've gotten to the swords suit, or the swords court cards. So we have your page, again, mostly riderless knight. So you can see the element and part of the legs of the rider, but the rest of it is never seen. Again, the focus is on the horse. And then we have our queen and our king. So let's put them together. All right, so you have your developmental stage, and I love that it's a little bit more ethereal. Like some of the ideas are there, some of them are a little bit more solid, and some are just kind of out of reach, out of grasp. And then here with the light shining brightly within the Queen of Swords, it's like, there's a light in the darkness. And then we start to see with the King of Swords a lot more coloring, a lot more definition. So things are more clear for us to see. Whatever is troubling us, we have clarity on that subject. All right, to the wands. I also love kind of how the artist is forming the people or beings. I don't know if they're actually people, but more like beings in this deck, where they're stripped down to bone, to muscle, so that nothing is hiding. Nothing's hiding in those shadows. You see them as they are, raw, truthful, authentic. And that's how we should see our situations. Whether we want to see certain things or not, at least present us the truth, right? All right, and then we've come to our final court, and that is the wands. So we have your page here. We have the knight. And then a little bit different here with the king and the queen. This is the only suit where you get the profile of the king and the queen, whereas the other one, everybody's facing forward. And so I thought that was an interesting use, because if you look here with the page facing forward, there's this, I don't know, kind of crescent moon behind him with this like fiery energy. But sideways, it's like they become one with what's going on in their crown chakra, the ideas that they have. They become one with that fire, with that passion. And I think that's why you see them with the side profile. So here, just kind of like the beginnings of getting connected with that passion, with those ideas, that creativity. And here, fully immersing yourself in it, kind of that orangey red color, some more sacral chakra type energy. And then here, kind of mastering that energy with the King of Wands. Everything looking pretty solid once again. So there you go. Let's go ahead and shuffle this up and pull a message for you guys. So we're going to go ahead and break this deck up. Put this over here. Here, give it a nice good shuffle. And my intention is that anybody who's watching this review will get a message for their best and highest good. We'll do that again. Usually with new decks, I like to really knock around the energy. And one more knock. Maybe 2, 3. Doop, doop. There we go. There we go. Looks like we have a card that flew out. I'll keep that one up here. And we'll put these two face down. Alrighty. Okay. Let's see what we got going on here. So we have the 5 of Pentacles. We have 4 really solid looking pentacles, and then 1 that's just shattering and breaking up. It seems like the light is breaking it apart. And let's see, what do we have here? Ooh, we have the Hermit. Get it nice and tight for you guys. I think we all kind of embody the Hermit from time to time. And our final card, which is kind of what popped out to me visually earlier, and that was the Temperance card. Looking into our reflection with our light shining brightly, our third eye, crown chakra wide open. Okay, so let's bring this down in here. And if you guys get something from this reading, by all means, please share it down below so that all can benefit. Okay, give me just a moment while I put this together. Okay, so for those of you that are focused on kind of what you don't have at the moment, like maybe you don't have the home that you want, you don't have the car that you want, the job that you want, you're not making the money that you want. Instead of looking externally for those answers, like how am I going to do this, how am I going to do that, we need to first find what is in your best interest for your highest good. You know, not the ego's best interest, but for your journey, your soul's journey, we're going to need to meditate. We're going to need to go inwards in this Hermit card. And oftentimes that means time away from loved ones, or time away from social media, or, you know, time away to just really focus on what the soul really wants. I mean, the ego might want to make 6 figures, but what's that 6 figures signify? Maybe it signifies security. So it's not really the 6 figures you want, it's the security you want. And so we might be looking inwards to find out, where is that actually stemming from? You know, why do we feel insecure? That we feel that we need to make all that money to make ourselves feel secure. And when we do that, when we start to figure out where these things are actually stemming from, we start to bring ourselves more into balance, because we become, I would say, we have more clarity on the self. And then there are parts of ourselves that are no longer a mystery to us, or we're not just acting out of, oh, you know, what's next? And then, you know, without any thought, you know, things happening and then not thinking about it. Here we reflect on it. we think on it, we find out where these are actually coming from. Oh, that's something that actually needs to be healed. And so when that's healed, then you may find, you know what, this job that I'm in, trying to make these 6 figures, this job doesn't even make me happy. This job isn't even in alignment with where I want to be, how I want to help people. Instead, maybe I want to start doing this. And when you find you're in alignment with that, you feel all the wealth in the world, and you find that you're more taken care of because you're doing what you are meant to be doing in that moment. So take some time out, meditate, get to know the self, get to know why you're wanting certain things in your life. Where is that actually coming from? And let's heal, baby. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this review of the Guiding Light Tarot, that mixture of darkness and light by Victoria Ivanova. I believe they've shortened her name as the author of the deck, so they just call her Victoria Iva, but it's Ivanova. Definitely check her out at blackart.victoria on Instagram. And like I said, if you are interested in this deck, head over to debris.com and get 20% off with KWT20. All right, you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. Give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to click subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos just like this. And definitely check out my channeling videos. There's a 5D panel videos coming out soon, a part 1, 2, and 3 in our series. And all my information is down below. All right. I'll catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.